What? Hello. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. See if anybody. I can't see to put it on my phone. See if anybody's. Good evening, everybody. If you are coming on live, say hello in the comments. Hashtag live. Say hello. Tell me where you're coming in from. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to Supermom's community. Naturally coming, behaviorally challenged kids. Welcome. My name is Andrea Milioti. Anybody who don't know me, I'm the founder of Supermom's community, and I'm also a parent connect coach, and I help moms with mindfulness and with connection. Welcome, welcome. Like I said, I should come on, just say hi in the comments. Let me know. Hashtag live. Hello, where you're coming from. And if you are watching a replay later as well, hashtag replay and where you're coming in from. So tonight we're going to talk about the five love languages of children. Um, I've been doing a lot of reading. Actually, I read a book recently about the five love languages, written by Dr. Gary Chapman. He is really he works with parents with kids. He's also like a marriage counselor, and he talks about the five love languages, and basically the five love languages in like a relationship, like a spouse, you and your spouse, husband wife relationship. Um, those same love languages really apply in the parenting relationship with the parent and your child. So really, really interesting, and it just really showing you how to find, to discover what your child's love language is. Because once you know what your child's love language is, it makes it so much better to connect. So we're gonna talk about that today, and so just to let me know before I don't see. Like I said, say hello. You're coming in. So the five love languages. Well, I'm just gonna start off and basically say that that you know well, number one, all children are gifts. I believe they all children are gifts of God, and there it the reality is all children feeling loved, right? But there's a big difference between your child, like you giving love, and your child feeling that they're loved by you. So, how do you effectively love your child? And that's where it comes down to knowing your child's language. And I wish I knew this. I wish I knew this when my kids were young because it just when I first heard this, it actually really made me think about my own parenting, like the way my parents were with me, and that like what my language would have been. I didn't know it at the time, but they did. But when I think about it, me growing up, I felt more loved by my father than I did my mother. And although I guess I knew my father loved me because he would always hug me. He would just always hug me and play with me and just we'd cuddle watching TV. Um, whereas my mom didn't do that. And although I'm sure she loved me in her own way, but I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that. I felt it. I felt that love from my dad. So and the more I think about it, it's because of that cuddle and then hugging me. Because, well, the first one we're going to discuss is number one, physical touch. That obviously was my love language. And that's why I felt it like I felt more love from my dad. Uh, but physical, before we even get to that, inside every child, there's an emotional love tank. Okay, and if that tank is full, right, they feel generally loved, like by their parents, right? Then that child will grow up like normal. Will grow up in a normal life, happy, and it's all good, right? However, if that tank is empty, right? It's really empty. It's not full, right? They have an empty tank, and they don't feel loved by their parents. They don't have that feeling of that they're loved, right? Well, then in that case, there's going to be internal struggles. And when they turn out to be teens, they're going to go looking for love somewhere else. And generally, it's going to be in all the wrong places. So we start with the first love language, physical. It's a good point to start, physical touch. And we think about, think of your child. If your child, think of it excuse me, as a baby, physical touch is very, very important to, as a baby, you pick up a baby and you cuddle it and you hold it and you're touching it gently. It feels that more love and it feels safer and more loved than if you just leave the baby and the baby's crying and crying for hours. It's not gonna have that tank. It's not gonna feel that love the same way. Um, physical touch, if your child love language is physical touch, well, if Excuse me. If you know, that's the baby. Uh, as your child gets older, the physical tou touching is different. It's going to be more like, okay, we're going to get on the floor now, and it's going to be wrestling your mom and tickling, and it's a whole cuddling. It's going to be a different. But a child that feels that, if you ask them, how do you feel? Do you know that your parents love you? And they say, yes, I know my mom and dad love me very much. How do you know that? Because my mom, my mom and dad love me much because every time, like, they come in or I come in, they always run and they give me hugs and they give me kisses. When they go out, mom leaving, she comes over, she gives me a hug and a kiss. She tell, right? My dad too, if he's there, if he didn't leave earlier. But that tells you that physical touch is that child's language. Where so you physical touch, it's figuring out, like I remember my son, my son, when I come home, he literally like come to the door and pull me in the door, literally, and pull me in the door on the couch, and he'd jump in my lap, and I'd hug him, and I'd squeeze him, I'd tickle him a little bit, and I just give him smooches, and we'd be cuddling, and he loved that because physical touch was his primary language. Now his older sister, my daughter, who's 4 years older, at 3 years old, he was like three and doing this. At 3 years old, she was not like that. Whereas I would just come home, she'd be in the room and she'd be calling me like, "Mommy, mommy, come here, mommy, come in my room. I want to show you something, mommy, mommy, come in here, mommy, come in here. I'll show you." She was begging for quality time, which was her primary language. So you have to watch and listen to what your child is asking. So physical touch, which is powerful. Number two is words of affirmations. Now there's dialogues, like we speak. Everybody speaks with a dialogue, right? Well, words of affirmation. There's a few of them, but I'm going to kind of, not all of them, but I'm going to at least talk about three dialects of it. And the first one is words of affection. Okay, words of affection is focusing on the child for who they are. So different things like you are beautiful. Oh my God, you have such a beautiful smile. I love when you smile. You are so smart. Or it can be as simple as just I love you. Words of affection, right? Because you're actually directing it to the child. You're directing it to the person. You're talking about them. Words of affection. You know, there's different dialogues. Um, and right, so then there's words of praise. And what I like to say is always focus on effort, not on perfection, right? Always focus on effort. So always is like great, oh, great catch, good job. You know what? You worked hard for this. So you're giving those words of praise. And I remember, you know, praising your child, and it's also praising not in the midst of when it happens. So, like, say your child brings home a paper or brings home a B. Now, most of the time it would be like, praise the B. No, come on. That should have been an A. You're smarter than that. That's not the time. What you want to do is you want to praise that B. Yay! A B! Yay! Yay! A B! And then maybe 3 days down the road, when you got the report card, you signed it, and that report card is now back at the teacher's desk, right? 3 4 days down the road, you might want to say, you know what? I'm really proud of you for that B. That's great. I mean, great job. What do you think we could do to kind of bring that up to maybe a A minus? Now they're going to think about that because because it's after the fact. You need to know that you're happy with B, but they're going to think about that. Or having your son, mow the lawn, and and then you just hear it mow the lawn, but you'll be like, you know what, you missed the spot over there. No, when they just do it, that's if you want to praise. Oh my God, look at this lawn. It's all flat and green. It looks great. Good job. You did a great job. Well, now maybe next Saturday, you want to say, Johnny, remember you did a great job with the lawn. Remember, see this spot over here? This spot over here is really hard to get. You kind of got to go in and around. And you know what? You know, he goes, okay, Dad. You know what? Okay. He's going to pay attention to that. Now he's going to try and do that because, it's after the fact. Praise. Focus on effort, not perfection. Very important. Focus on effort, not perfection. And then there's words of encouragement. Encourage means to instill courage in them, right? And I love one thing about is encourage is giving that to encourage them. Giving them that motivation, encourage them to do good. One thing I like to say is I love you. There's like those three little words, but they should never stand alone. They should always stand alone. Excuse me. Never be like You should never be like I love you if you make your bed, or I love you, but you know, like you're gonna make a um. So want to encourage. Always making I love you stand alone. You're not I love you for a reason. You're I love you. I'll always love you. And you could say, especially when they get older, they get to be more like you. If you have 11, 12, 13, 14, that teen, so I didn't like what you did. I don't like what you did. You could say that, but you know what? But I love you, and I will always be here for you, no matter what. That's what, like, standing alone. I love you should be always, no matter what. I love you. Okay, and then the number three language is quality time. Quality time, right? Undivided attention. How many times do you have, like, you have your daughter, your son, you're in the kitchen and you're making potato salad or something, and they're like, mommy, come, and they're like trying to, they want you to come over here, they want you, they need you, right? And you're like, okay, in a minute, Charlie, in a minute. Mommy's just, I'm making a potato salad, okay, in a minute. Let me finish. Then they go out, and a little bit later, they're coming right back in again. Come on, mommy, come on, wait. Let me just finish the potato salad. And you're gonna keep doing this. What is it for you to just put that potato salad aside and just go to them and give them your undivided attention? Because that's what they want. Whenever they want you there. And then later you can say, okay, you know what? Now, mommy needs to go back in the kitchen and finish making that potato salad. You know what? Because you filled their tank with that quality time, they're going to let you go back to the kitchen and do what you have to do without any problem. So it's quality time. And, there's different ways you could see how it's quality time. It's the time with that time with you, looking for that together time. And then there's number four, there's gifts. When I say gifts, I don't mean that, as a parent, we're parents here, we don't go out, we just buy everything for our kids. But gifts are, matter of fact, the word gift comes from the Greek word charis, right? Charis. Charis means grace, unmerited favor. It means that you're just getting a gift, not for anything. Not that they did something, you're just getting it simply because you thought of them, you loved them, you thought of them. You know, you know. When I think about it, I'm sure how many of you moms can relate to this. Because I know me, my son used to do this all the time. He was good for picking one. My daughter would pick a few and make it as a bouquet. He'd pick one. But they'd go out in the yard and they'd pick the dandelion. And they'd bring me a little bouquet of dandelion. And I'd literally put it in a cup with water. And we put it. It wasn't nothing. There was nothing quite picking up. But the idea they picked that dandelion, they thought of me. They thought of their mom, and they gave it to her. That's what it's about. I mean, you can literally pick up a pretty rock that you see, maybe it's all colorful, and give it to your child. And just say, "Here, mommy's got this rock for you. Look at the colors. Isn't it beautiful? I just thought of you when I saw it." I can almost guarantee you that they'll have that rock in their drawer till like they're 23 years old. They'll still have that rock there because you cared enough and thought about them to give them that. So, gifts. And then number five is acts of service. Acts of service is, oh, when they're little and they're babies, we're doing things for them that they can't do by themselves. So we're like as a baby and we're teaching them things that they can't do. So say you have a baby that's learning how to eat now and you're feeding that baby. Now, it's okay to do things and play the food games and take in the food and make an airplane to go into the mouth and all those little fun games when you're teaching them, when they're learning. It's okay. But when they're 5 years old, it's not going to be appropriate to do that. Shouldn't be having to play food games like that when they're 5. But when they're first learning to eat, and maybe like 10 months, 11, whatever around there, 10 months to a year, that you're starting to feed them, that's a different story. You're teaching them. So, it's okay. So, discovering. How do you discover your child's love language? Well, one, you observe how they express love to you. You know, how do they express love to you? If if your child says, you know, express love to you, how do they express love to you? And then how do they express love to other people, like grandparents, other kids maybe in their class, right? Other kids maybe in groups they belong to, teachers as they get older. If your child wants to buy the teacher a gift or buy something for the teacher, bring a gift to the teacher all the time, it's pretty obvious that their love language is gifts, right? So, and what do they request most often? Like, what do they request? What do they request most often? So, if they say, can we take a walk after dinner? Well, they say it's pretty obvious that quality time is their language. If they said, if they ask you, did I do a good job? It's pretty obvious that that would be, that's what we talked about, that would be what? In the word of affirmation, that would be words of encouragement, right? Would be their language. If they said, what did you bring me when you came home? What did you bring me from the store? That's saying gifts is their primary language, right? So you could see by the way they act, you know. And what do they complain about? Their complaints tell a lot, So, like, for instance, your child says, we don't go to the park anymore since the baby came. Well, they're telling you that quality time is important to them. That's their like that you used to take me to the park all the time. It's that time at park, but you don't anymore now that the baby came. So to tell you that quality time is very important to them. You know, you come home from a trip and they're like, you didn't bring me anything, and that's telling you that gifts is their primary language. They said something like, Mama, my doll dress is still torn. Well, that's telling you that acts of service is their language. They've asked you to fix their doll dress, and you still didn't do it. So they're telling you acts of service is important to them. So I don't ever do anything right. Charles says I don't ever do anything right. Well, children's complaints reveal the heart. They are telling you what makes them feel loved through their complaints. So that's what I said. So it's very easy if you listen to your child to discover what their their love language is. And then when you find out what their love language is, you do everything to feed into that language. And if you do that, then you're filling their cup. You're filling that tank of love because they're going to feel the love. So, another way you could also, if you're unsure, you can experiment. And maybe by experiment, you can say, okay, you and maybe both of you, your spouse, you can take a week and say, we're going to pick one love language. Just say we're going to do words of affirmations. We're going to words of affirmations. Words of, and we're just going to pour it out for that whole week, right? And then the weekend's going to come, we're going to lay low. And the second week, we're going to pick another language and we're just going to work on that. All week, we're just going to pour into that language. You look at the week that you were speaking your child's language, you're going to get better behavior. You're going to get better response for them. You're just going to, it's all around the behavior, the discipline, everything is going to be so much better when you are speaking into their love language. So sometimes it's good to like do that little experiment if you're unsure. So these are five love languages, and I encourage you. I hope that this made sense. This makes sense as you have clarity around this. You have value. Let me know that in the comments. If yes, this makes sense, or no, it doesn't. I'm not too clear. Let me know that because that's how I can help you further. Um, what I would like as do a little homework assignment. If you have to go back, this is gonna be here. Watch the video or watch it, rewatch it. You have to sometimes you get more out of it the second or the third time. Take notes, you know, and then think, okay, you know, what look at the way your child is with you. See the way you observe how they express love to you. Notice this. More how they express love to their grandparents, to their siblings. Their teachers. Other people. Notice it more. When you're aware of this, notice it. And learn what that love language is. Learn your child's primary love language because that could really just be such a game changer in your parenting relationship with your child. And because it's also the way, they're going to, if you're speaking their language, they know that you love them because they feel that love. They'll have that tank that's full because they're feeling that love. You know, like me as a little girl, I didn't feel that love from my mother because my mother wasn't speaking my language, but my father was speaking my language. So I felt that love much more with him than I did with her. So think about all this. Try it, and keep, you know, try and catch yourself. And it's going to take time, but observe and observe your child. Listen to the way they talk to you. Listen to what they're asking you. Because those are clues to you discovering what their primary love language is. And if you would like some help on this, then you say, you know what, this seems really, really great, but I'm like, how do I like start? You know, how do I go about this? Well, we can connect. This is definitely, an area where I can help you, and I can, you know, help you with ways to help you discover your child's love language. Um, and I would love to talk to you. We could definitely get on a clarity call and connect and just see if this is right. But if you feel that, I like this, this is great, and you feel this that sense of value here, but you feel like you just need that little bit of hand holding and that extra help, reach out because I can help you with this. This is something that I really, I strongly believe that it's a big part of parenting relationship is knowing your child's love language to really benefit. So I'm here and I'd love to help you. Reach out to me, put in the comments. Yes, I would love to get on a call and you know what, put in the comments. What I'll do is I'll DM you and we can get on a call together. So I would love to help you out. So let me know. I hope you found clarity in these five love languages and you have a little bit better understanding about, what it takes and being able to understand what your child's love language is. So I hope this helped, guys. Let me know. So what we'll do is we're gonna the next video. I'm gonna go a little bit further with this too. This is just basically just kind of telling a little bit about each of them and a couple ways to help you discover your child, and then we can go deeper. I mean, this is just a start. This is just like the little foundation, like the icing. Um, but we can go deeper. And I usually, and I would be happy to work with you and get on a call. So if you just feel like you just need that little extra hand holding, like you see it, you got that sense of value, you just, you get clarity, but you're not seeing it because you're not understanding how you can see and understand your child's love language, where I can help you. So I'd love to get on a call. Um, so I hope this helped. I hope all of you got some value from it. I'm here to just give you that value. So hope you guys have a good night. Happy Thursday. Love you guys.